9 months after the orgasmic meditation workshop, I was no closer to understanding my problem, much less knowing how to fix it. I had had 2 more dating experiences in London, which both followed exactly the same pattern. Nice time, wake up in a cold sweat, obsess over every possible relationship scenario, scary amount of Googling, body and mind taken over, can't sleep, can't eat, vomit, end it. After a comment from my mum about how skinny my wrists were looking and how dark the circles beneath my eyes were, I finally admitted defeat and did what I always do. Moved. This time to the sunny city of Madrid. Determined to forget the confusion of the past few years and hoping to enjoy myself for a while, I had set myself up working as a waitress, not in a cocktail bar, but in a traditional restaurant, in the most touristy sense of the word, a taberna. My Spanish was bordering on offensive, but most of the customers were American, so it didn't matter. The staff, mainly men, spoke only the language of lechery, so they didn't mind either. My lack of Spanish wasn't helped by the fact that my flatmate was British, Welsh in fact, and quite a character. Not to mention, extremely smelly, and with a distinct lack of understanding of what constitutes personal space.
Hey, Iz.
Hey, Clive. You're sitting very close to me there.
Good book.
Yeah, it's about Lorca and how...
Not really a fan of books.
No?
Well, they're a bit wordy, and I prefer my Metal Earth.
I know, Clive. You showed me.
Not my latest, Iz. Look. It's the Targaryen sigil. From Game of Thrones.
Never seen it.
Oh, Iz. You're missing out. It's brilliant. Loads of sex. I made it for Christabel.
Did she like it?
No. Apparently it was not to her tastes. She's dumped me, actually, Iz. It was all going well, and then she tells me my interests are too small, I don't have enough ambition, and my life's not going anywhere. I said to her, if you want someone to be free to meet you from work every day, then you can't expect them to be a mogul as well. She's dating a delivery driver now. Shift work. She's not gonna like that. I got a plan to win her back, though. I'm gonna make a Death Star. The Empire's secret weapon. The size of a moon, but with the ability to destroy an entire planet. Small but deadly. Oh, like her, really.
Clive had found his way to Madrid through a series of continental relationships. Selene, the French eco-warrior who lived in a treehouse and taught him how to ride a bike, and presumably about the evils of personal hygiene. Anke, the German party girl who prompted the alleged start of his LSD years, although I suspected it had only been weeks. And now Christabel. She was younger than him, smarter than him, and seemed not to be able to like him consistently for any length of time. They were forever breaking up and then getting back together with noisy celebratory sex. It was unclear what Clive did for a living. He seemed to have lost his way a bit, or maybe he just wasn't pretending to have a way, unlike the rest of us.
What you doing tonight, then, Iz?
A shift at the restaurant, then probably come home to finish my book. What?
Well, it's Saturday night. You should be out.
This was a dance Clive and I did every weekend, and the conversation followed a pattern both of us knew well. I will be out. I'll be at work.
No, I mean out with someone.
I might meet Marta after.
A man.
Why should I be out with a man?
It's Saturday night. I've got a mate.
No.
Oh, why not?
I hadn't told Clive about my little problem. Quite frankly, I didn't want to think about it, much less talk about it. I existed in a happy, sociable world of work, friends, and beautiful blue sky.
I can set you up on an app.
No, I've told you before.
It's fun. It's how I met Christabel. And all the others.
Going well, then.
Oh.
Sorry, Clive. I just find them all a bit...
What?
Stressful.
It's fun. Well, it's meant to be. Here, give me your phone. Let me set you up a profile.
No.
And whatever you make in tips tonight, I'll double it.
I paused. This was a new twist. Spaniards don't tip, you know that.
Your customers are American, you know that.
Uncharted territory. He sensed my hesitation and pounced.
Come on, a profile, a few swipes and a message, and I'll double your tips. Just for tonight.
What is it you actually do, Clive?
Never you mind, Iz, never you mind.
Okay. Can you afford to double my tips?
Question is, can you afford not to?
For a man with no sense of personal space, he could be deceptively perceptive at times. I handed the phone over with no real intention of following through, but the money would come in handy, and I assumed it would shut Clive up about dating, so win-win. You know why there's no tipping in Spain? Because under the dictatorship, there was a rule.
Smile.
Oh, Clive, no photos.
You've got to have a photo or you'll look like you're married and just up for some dirty fun. Which is also fine, but not what we're going for. Let me take another one. You look a bit angry.
I'm not moving from the sofa.
You don't have to, but you do have to smile. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's meant to be fun.
Fine.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, yes. Right, now for your profile.
Yeah, so, like I said, there's no tipping because traditionally a restaurant was considered...
Done.
Already?
Well, I just wrote your name and English.
Okay, well, that's enough now.
No, 5 right swipes and a message. That's the deal. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're a girl. You'll match with everyone.
I took the phone and began to flick through. A small headache forming. I felt queasy at even the thought of getting to know someone.
Wait, you can't just skip through them. You have to have a proper look. Oh, see? What about him? He skis.
No.
Why not?
He looks intense.
He's being sexy.
It's scary.
He's hot.
You date him then.
Oh, Miguel? Oh, look, Miguel's got a dog. You want someone to walk it with.
It's cruel to have a dog in this city. The apartments are too small. You know, it's interesting. In Madrid, the flats are really small because...
Raoul? Oh, Raoul skis too. Nice eyes.
Okay. Just swipe right on him and the next 4 men and then give me my phone back. I've got to get to work.
All right. So, check it in your break, and if there's any matches, just send a cheeky hola.
I don't know what a cheeky hola is, but okay.
Promise?
I said okay.
Okay. Enjoy work. Hope you get lots of tips.
I left the flat, promising myself that one day soon I would tell Clive the real reason I didn't have a date, and also pluck up the courage to tell him that he, and consequently the flat, smelt, but knowing I probably wouldn't do either. I walked through Barrio de las Letras, the literary quarter, and thought once again how lucky I was to live right inside the historic centre. Who needed love when you had the pastel-coloured streets of Madrid? Just before Plaza Mayor, I turned off to start my shift at the restaurant. I had 2 bosses. One, Javi, was a gentleman in his 60s. He'd worked there since being in his 20s and was affectionately referred to as Javi Travolta. He was patient with me when I stumbled through speaking Spanish and was kind and jovial and flirty in a light-hearted way. And the other, named Alvaro, was, well, different.
Hola, guapa, ¿qué tal?
Hola, Javi. Bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? ¿Cómo estuvo tu fin de semana?
Bien, guapa. El sábado tuvimos aquí por la noche un lío que no veas, porque...
Hello, Izzy.
Hola, Alvaro.
¿Qué? No kisses for me?
Javi got my last 2. I blew him a sarcastic kiss from the other side of the room and hurried out of the door, aware he was watching me, as he would all night. The restaurant was buzzing, and it was barely 7 p.m. Most people in Spain eat dinner much later, but as this was the tourist centre, it was already packed. Are you ready to order, madam?
Honey, your English is so good.
Oh, well, I'm English.
Oh, how wonderful. How do you do?
How are you finding Spain?
So beautiful. The men, the women. I struggle with the language. Por favor, gracias, that's it. But I try.
Well, it's hard. I get by, but, you know.
I'm so curious. How did you end up here?
Oh, I was travelling around for a while and wanted a change. To be near home, but not at home.
Oh, I understand that feeling. The States are my home, but I am just so heartbroken right now. That man, that terrible man. My eldest boy is a supporter. Can you imagine? But my youngest, he's a nurse. He says, Mama, we bite our tongues, we bite our time, and it'll all come right in the end.
I'm sure, yeah.
Isabel, mesa dos. Me está esperando, joder. Venga.
Vale, Alvaro!
Vamos.
Mavoy! I took the lady's order and went back to serving the dinner time rush, continuing to ignore Alvaro as much as was possible. During the break, I tentatively checked my phone, approaching it as if it were a bomb that might explode at any moment. 3 messages on the dating app. I closed my eyes and swallowed down the beginnings of a gag reflex. A man called Marco, someone who didn't appear to have a face, and Raoul with the nice eyes. My heart seemed to be beating in my ears, and I definitely caught the first taste of bile in my throat. I swallowed harder and thought about what Clive had said. It's meant to be fun. It didn't feel like fun. Had it ever? Maybe for a time when I was younger. Before apps, before Hong Kong, before the vomit. I had boyfriends before. Nice boyfriends. I had even loved 1 or 2 of them, but I never seemed to feel content or at peace, and I never wanted to stay. I placed the phone firmly in the back of the locker, turned the key with unnecessary force, and went back to work, keen to accumulate some tips to make all this nonsense worthwhile. The next morning, I was feeling relieved that the bet was over. I had done what I had been told to do, and could now go back to the blissful peace of denial. Clive, here you are. So, €56.24 doubled is €112.48. Woohoo!
Not bad, Izzy. But I need to see your phone first. 3 messages. Well done. Well, but you haven't replied.
I'm not going to reply.
Oh, well, then I owe you nothing. I said at least 1 message.
There's 3.
I meant from you.
Clive?
What is the point of matching and then messaging if you're not going to reply? Don't be that girl.
There's no way I'm replying.
Why did you find this so stressful?
I just... What even is the end goal?
To meet someone. To have a relationship.
It wouldn't be a good fit for me. The restrictions and everything.
To have fun together. Support each other.
Having to pretend you're not a complete fuck-up.
To love each other.
Feel sick all the time.
I think you have a warped view of what a relationship is.
I don't. I just think it's nonsense getting to know each other, staring into each other's increasingly apathetic eyes, wondering who'll die of boredom first.
A relationship is a gift, Izzy. Not a burden.
Something in the way Clive was looking at me made me feel ashamed. I felt unexpectedly emotional and paused, blinking back tears.
Izzy?
This was it. The moment I got to confess my deep, dark, ridiculous secret. To open up and be judged for the fucked up loser that I was. I opened my mouth to speak, and what came out surprised me. Can you help me?
Sure. Come on, let's do it together. All right, so Raoul looks the nicest. Oh, and he's messaged in English, so he's read your profile. What do you think?
Yeah, he seems okay. So what shall I say?
Just write, "Hey Raoul, thanks for your message. Fancy a drink sometime?" And see what happens.
I reluctantly typed the message and immediately felt sick. Raoul was online and messaged straight back. With Clive's guidance, we chatted for a bit. He lived pretty close by, had good English, and his messages were interesting, polite, and, well, normal. We arranged to meet that evening. Clive beamed, evidently proud of me, or more likely himself. I put the phone down and let out the breath I hadn't realised I'd been holding. Nothing like a bit of spontaneity to ruin your day. During the day, I kept myself busy trying not to think about the approaching evening. I distracted myself with a book, and on the walk to the bar to meet Raoul, was pleasantly surprised to find I felt a little excited. I took it as a good sign.
Your profile is quite casual. I like that you only have 1 photo.
Liked it or found it a bit strange?
Well, yeah, maybe a bit strange. but I thought you have a very interesting face. and even more in person.
It's hard to know what to put. One guy seemed to have had professional shots taken, which made me think he's probably a prick. But then there were some whose faces you could hardly even see.
Oh.
Lots of guys skiing. Seems to be a thing.
Uh,
Oh, you did have a skiing pic. That's right. Sorry.
well, that's okay. I like to ski. Have you ever skied?
No, sadly. A lot of travelling, though. Asia, Africa,
And now?
and now here. I love the atmosphere and the cheap beer. And you're from the south?
Sí, Granada, an Andalusian boy.
Oh, what does that mean?
It means we are friendlier than the people here, but that no one can understand us. We have the theta thing, you know? Gracias.
Gracias.
Yeah, you English cannot do it.
I can do it. Gracias.
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 You know, gracias.
Gracias.
Horrible, horrible.
We stayed until the sun went down, and when we left, we kissed on both cheeks, and I watched him walk away. That hadn't been so bad. That had been nice. A few days later, we went for a walk around the Retiro, which I also enjoyed. Maybe Clive had been right. There was nothing to be afraid of. I could do this. I really hoped so, but inside my heart was beginning to thump. I could feel the knot of anxiety forming in my stomach, and I was starting to have a less than optimistic feeling. Catch the thoughts, the counsellor in Hong Kong had said. Categorise each thought, question each thought, challenge them all. I studiously obeyed. 3 different categories: not happening now, never happened and unlikely to happen. A chance it might happen, but not happening now, and if it does, you'll cope. Would I? A seemingly endless stream of anxieties, turning over and over, catch and categorise, exhausting. That night, I went home and began to Google furiously. I didn't manage to find any articles on vomiting and dating, but I did find articles on anxiety and dating, which seemed to conclude that I feared commitment and was therefore a narcissist. I shut my phone in the other room and tried to meditate. I really wanted to just feel free and happy and enjoy dating like other people seem to be able to. I breathed out and felt a moment's peace. But something told me it wasn't going to last for long.
KSiCK by Erin McHugh. Directed by Hannah Berrigan. In episode 2, Izzy was played by Sophie Trott, Clive by Delmay Thomas, The American Tourist by Rachel Pickup, Raoul by Chelma Vigelba, and Javi by Alessandro Terranova. Full details of all the episodes plus more information about the show can be found at our website at theprosceniumonlinetheatre.com. If you've liked what you heard, please do share the episode. It's the best way to help us grow our audience and make more shows. Thanks for listening.